Tom Bower is a journalist and he's also author of Revenge, Meghan, Harry and the War with the Windsors. And he joins me now. Welcome to the programme, Tom. Whose revenge against whom and why?
Well, clearly it's the revenge of the Sussexes against Charles and William and Kate, and to some extent even the Queen. They felt they hadn't been given the celebrity they sought, and have set up an alternative headquarters in California.
And so you think really the offence against the Sussexes that they feel themselves is that they were denied the celebrity they wanted. I mean, that's a pretty third-rate reason for revenge against the royal family, isn't it?
Well, that's the quality of the people you're talking about. I mean, Meghan clearly, in my view, never intended to stay in Britain for long. She saw the royal appointment becoming Duchess as a stepping stone to what she called her next chapter in her life. She would have stayed if she could have taken the star role, but she constantly felt frustrated that the Queen was the star and she was supporting cast. And I don't think she enjoyed living in Kensington Palace. After all, she only had 2 bedrooms, and across the corridor, Kate and William had a 22-room flat and 2 kitchens. It was just unequal for her, and she couldn't understand why Harry didn't have more money and wasn't in line for the throne in a way in which she could become the Queen. So she was disappointed, to say the least, and got out as fast as she could.
Tom, stick with me. We're going to look at this trailer, which I think lasts about a minute.
Why did you want to make this documentary?
No one sees what's happening behind closed doors. I had to do everything I could to protect my family.
When the stakes are this high, doesn't it make more sense to hear our story from us?
Tom, from reading your book, I was struck that this is really very serious, that this represents a big peril for the royal family, because in particular, the accusation against the royal family, which I think you in your book consider to be unjustified, that it is racist, is extraordinarily damaging in the United States and by extension in the Caribbean and, of course, throughout Africa. Let's face it, it's not a good look anywhere in the world. And that was the impression I got from your book, that you think really this is pretty serious stuff for the royal family.
I do, and I fear that the Netflix documentary and then obviously the book is going to cause even more damage. And it needs leadership. It needs leadership from King Charles, because at some stage he is going to have to draw a line and say the Sussexes have really gone too far in their bid for fame and fortune at the expense of the royal family. And I've repeatedly warned about this for months now. It's quite clear what they're doing. It's very skillful and damaging, colossally damaging. And what an amazing trailer that one Netflix is. It's just full of threats and poison and innuendo and direct attacks on the royal family.
Despite the fact that Meghan and Harry were in London, of course, at the time of the Queen's funeral, and went out and shook the hands of the crowd and so on, behaving in a way as though they were still part of the active membership of the royal family. But to your point, what do you think the King can do about it?
Well, I think that they tried reconciliation during the funeral, and clearly it failed because the Sussexes weren't prepared to apologise and prepared to stop their campaign. I think the first step, which I think will be very popular, will be to take away the Sussexes' titles as Sussex. Of course, Harry is born a prince and will remain a prince. I think the next thing is for King Charles to announce that he has no relationship whatsoever with the Sussexes and they're no longer members of the royal family as far as he's concerned. We'll see what happens. But I think that's the only thing he can do. He can't anymore just bury his head in the sand.
You'll be aware